I'm seeing a lot of people who are outspoken about the pandemic and the human rights violations of the vaccine, being very quiet about the human rights violations of Palestine. And I'm going to explain why. Now, if any of you remember those early days of COVID, I was also one of those people speaking out. And we were shadow banned, censored, all that information was censored, right? And legacy media, the big media companies, were pushing the story. And in America, they still have this very dualistic nature. They have Democrat and Republican, these two parties. And during that scenario, a lot of the Republicans were not falling for it, right? They were speaking out against the vaccine. And the Democrats were the ones that were kind of falling for it and shaming people who weren't getting it. So now it's the other way around. Now the same regime that runs both, so Zionist, international Zionist Jewry, it is mostly Jews, unfortunately. I've said that before. That doesn't represent all Jews, but they own everything. They are Jewish people. I'm not going to deny that. That doesn't make me anti-Semitic. I am Jew Arab. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So these people fund the Democrats and the Republicans, and they are very smart. So they have a multi-pronged strategy to demoralize and decay humanity because they follow the Babylonian Talmud, like I've said before, the most despicable book on the planet. Now, and they keep people in opposition. So right now, the people that spoke against the vaccine, they're looking and they're seeing all the Democrats speaking for the rights of the Palestinians and speaking out against the genocide of the Palestinians. And they're like, oh my God, I can't say that because I couldn't trust the Democrats during the COVID situation. They were all falling for it. Now I'm seeing the Democrats saying Palestine needs to be liberated. Well, there's got to be something wrong here because I know that they fell for that, right? So they don't understand that sometimes the Republicans are on the money, or sometimes they understand, correct, and sometimes the Democrats understand, correct. So we're kind of all waiting for America. So a lot of these people, these influencers, are pitching this whole like, I'm not going to pick a side. They picked a side during the vaccine. They were very outspoken against the vaccine, but now they don't want to pick a side. And they're saying it's because they're neutral and higher in their consciousness. And it's like, no, you are unable to pick a side because you are afraid of looking like a Democrat. Because you are still in a two-party, polarized, dualistic understanding of life. So yeah, it's true. Their strategy for the Democrats is a thing called cultural Marxism. So international Jewry and Zionism, which is the US, British, Israeli regime, they have a lot of money because they own Anglo-America gold mines and De Beers diamond mines in South Africa. So they can fund the most extreme strategy on the planet. So they have a very smart strategy. And that strategy is to undermine or demoralize the family system through the Democrats with something called cultural Marxism. That's where you take liberalism way too far and you're teaching kids about different genetic parts and all kinds of things when they're 7 years old in school. That's unethical. That's abuse. All right. So Republicans see that and they're like, oh my God, no. Now the Republicans are looking at the Democrats who are like innately liberal, right? So maybe they're blind to the cultural Marxism going on, how their liberalism is being used to actually, liberalism is beautiful to a point, but then it gets used to demoralize and like decay a society, like a radical liberalism, like we're seeing in cultural Marxism, right? So now the Republicans are seeing the innate beauty of the Democrats is that they're liberal. So they're seeing them vocalize for the rights of the Palestinians, which is correct. And they're going, no, I can't side with that. I can't speak like that because it's going to look like now I agree with cultural Marxism and all the other crazy stuff that the Democrats have signed onto, like when they were pushing vaccines and, you know, pushing extreme sexual, unethical stuff on children in schools, you know. So now all these people who spoke against the vaccine are quiet about Palestine. Let me explain this to you. The vaccine was a human rights violation and a medical attempt at genocide, and the Palestinians is a human rights violation and a actual human genocide. So you're going to have to break out of your bipolarized party construct because it's kind of the American construct of two parties that's kind of keeping the whole world in dualism. So you're going to have to understand where where between, move like an animal. Yes, this is true inside here, that's untrue, that's true in there. There's some truth in everything. There's some truth on all sides. So we're all going to have to come together and rally around the actual truth. And the actual truth is that, once again, legacy media is pushing that Hamas is terrorist, we got to attack them. So that's what legacy media is saying. Support Israel, support Israel. But what's happening on the ground? What's been erupting through the platforms of independent people? There's a revolution happening, and we are all being shadow banned. So the same thing that happened to people that were speaking about and against the vaccine is happening to the people speaking against the genocide of the Palestinians and the rights of the Palestinians, and the fact that that is an apartheid. There is no discussion. There is no discussion. Colonization is not complicated. That is an occupation. And if you spoke against the vaccine, you need to be speaking against the occupation of Palestine, the genocide of the Palestinians, and the Nakba that happened, and the 76 years of occupation. Doesn't matter that the Democrats are talking about that and they fell for the COVID thing. Doesn't matter. Like, get out of your party lines. It's keeping everybody in polarity. You're not neutral. You're in polarity.